Matter of fact, dedication, but please get yourself settled in this morning. Welcome, ladies, men, Andy. Oh, well, still waiting for him to get in here. All Rotarians rise, please. We have some special guests here. Andy Morse and Patrick Shear are here today. Welcome back, Patrick. Unfortunately, I have some sad news that Ron is in California enjoying the sunshine. So he will not be with us for the next 5 weeks. And you're stuck with me, Rich Warfield, temporary Sergeant of Arms. So with all that being said, Marilyn, would you like to come up and do the prayer?
This morning, I would ask us to please keep in our prayers the victims of the devastating earthquake in Turkey. This morning, our news reports are reporting that more than 11,000 people have died. Folks, that's half the population of our community of Hudson, and it is disproportionately children who have been affected. May the volunteer workers have strength and perseverance. May families be reunited. May communities bind together in their grief and sorrow and begin the process of rebuilding a brighter new tomorrow. Help us as Rotarians and fellow humans to do good, to show empathy, and show support. Help us as Rotarians and fellow humans to faithfully fulfill our obligations as good neighbors to our community, to our nation, and to the entire world. Amen.
Thank you, Marilyn, and you look lovely today. All dressed up. That's a given. We're just happy to see you. So anyway, David Basil, would you like to come up and lead us in the four-way test and the Pledge of Allegiance?
I heard that. A cheat sheet for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, fellow Rotarians and guests. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States. And the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, build goodwill and better friendships. Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you, David. Chris Barker, would you like to announce our guest today? And are you going to sing for us today too? Oh, we got a double header. Here we go.
Thank you. Good morning, Rotarians. So we have a guest with us. She's visiting us for the second time. And if you would please stand, Madeline Lapidi Carino. And she is a guest today of Mimi Becker's. So thank you for joining us again. But now I'm going to ask everyone to please rise. We're going to be singing today. Okay, so I literally Googled good songs to sing at Rotary. And so this is to the tune of "Oh When the Saints," but you'll see the last verse has a little Rotary thrown in there. So everyone, let's sing it loud. Okay. Oh, when the saints, oh, when the saints, oh, when the saints go marching in. Yes, I want to be in their number when the saints go marching in. And when the sun, and when the sun, And when the sun begins to shine, yes, I want to be in that number. When the sun begins to shine, oh, when we meet, oh, when we meet, oh, when we meet at Rotary. Yes, I want to be in that number when we meet at Rotary. Thank you, everyone. Isn't that fabulous?
It is. What a voice. What a voice. Do you sing at Joe's church? You got her scheduled? Okay. Worship team, yeah, okay. One other announcement before we get to Joe. I was at the Chili Open on Saturday, and I don't know how many people, other Rotarians attend that event. Well attended once again, and I talked to Jim Redmond, who heads it up, and they keep breaking record after record after record. Previous year, they did $340,000. This year, they did 370 for a fundraising event, for 1 day fundraising event. So they've got a lot of great sponsors like Wayne Homes and some others that just give with the open heart. So anyway, that's just an incredible accomplishment. I know we do a lot for our gala, but just to hear those numbers are just amazing. So if you get a chance to go to the Chili Open, it is a fun little time to eat chili and drink a few beers. But anyway, we are welcome. We're going to welcome our current president, Joe Basil. Could you please come up? Basil Boisel. And he brought a police escort today. So
Can you take this guy away, please? I want to make sure. Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Good to be back here this morning after a week. I bring greetings from Phil and Sally Warburton from South Carolina. So I was down in Isle of Palms visiting them, and went to an ordination service at the Roman Catholic Cathedral in Charleston. This morning, following our meeting, there is a board of directors meeting that somehow I forgot was on the schedule. So we'll have to go without a printed agenda. It's up here though, don't worry. The things that are locked up here are amazing. Also, I would say that we're doing a collection for the Safer Futures Portage County during February. And I'm trying to see what we're collecting here. Terry, help us out. Oh, I see it now. Cleaning supplies. Any type of cleaning supplies, spray bottle, white vinegar, paper towels, things like that. So if you can bring those, it would be helpful, and we'll collect those throughout the month of February. I know that Marilyn has an announcement, so I'm going to bring her up, and then after her, I'm going to bring Patrick up to make an announcement as well.
Our Rotary Foundation for many years has supported music from the Western Reserve, and I am particularly excited about an upcoming concert on February 24th at Christ Episcopal Church. This is the concert supporting emerging artists, and we have a wonderful violinist who's going to be featured, but also a really talented horn player from Hudson High School. His name is Chris Petrella, and he is an absolutely outstanding horn player, and he will be performing 3 pieces as well. Chris is a newer member to our community. He and his family moved here about 2 years ago, and he has already been accepted at Curtis and Juilliard and the Cleveland Institute of Music. So come and hear him, because I think in the future you're going to hear that name. Thank you. It is Sunday, February 24th. Concert starts at 5. Pre-concert interviews at 4:30.
As Patrick's making his way up here, anybody interested in the Super Bowl this weekend? Just curious, how many people here pulling Philly? 1? Okay, you 3. Kansas City? You're going to watch the Ice Capades reruns on some other channel? All right. I think we're even up here, I think.
Thank you very much, Father Joe. We have an opportunity to recognize 9 young men that received their Eagle Scout Award in 2022 from the city of Hudson. I'm just going to give you their names: Avery Taylor, Jason Dement, Jonah Brown, Samuel Marshall, Ben Just, Aiden Keller, Jeremy Lavoie, Brendan Ashurst, and Evan Immis. pre-COVID, we would have an annual Eagle Scout recognition luncheon to recognize our Eagle Scout class. Now that COVID is not necessarily over, but we're over it, we're bringing back that Eagle Scout recognition dinner. So I would be interested in seeing if any of my fellow Rotarians would like to sponsor an Eagle Scout for that recognition dinner. It's $100. You get to come to lunch, sit with your Eagle Scout, have a conversation with them over lunch. They get a recognition item at the recognition event. It is Sunday, March 19th at Neomed in the News Center. So if anybody's interested, see me. I've got the registration forms for the sponsorships.
Thank you very much. Just be, no, you're good. There was something that was going on in my head, but it slipped out already. So I'm going to invite Andy to come forward and introduce our speaker.
Good morning, Rotarians. I'm excited today because we are continuing our youth for the month of February. More importantly, it's the anniversary of the scouting program here. And as Rotarians, we have a tremendous connection to our troop. First of all, the largest program that we have ever done in my 35 years with Rotary has kicked off. We are renovating the scout cabin. Can't imagine the dedication that was started back in 1931 when they first built the cabin, but we have the opportunity to continue that. And as Rotarians, and particularly our Rotary group, we have stepped forward, and this is a monumental chore. Rich, you're right. They earned $370,000 at the Chile Open. Well, we raised $250,000 for this project, and I am awed. I am truly awed that it goes and it's because of the dedication of this group. But it's a building, and the building inside has, you know, a number of people that obviously show up for different events. And so I am really excited that Troop 321 is here to present kind of their well, for lack of a better term, the state of the troop meeting tonight or this morning. So, and there will not be a rebuttal by the Girl Scouts. I hate to say that, but you know, so Sarah Huckabee can stay home. But more importantly, I'd like to call Brian Cavan and his troop members up to talk about it.
Thank you, Andy. As mentioned about the cabin, it's a very special place for us. We meet in that cabin every Tuesday night. Many Saturdays, we stay overnight in there on occasion as well. It's a fantastic place. It's filled with history from our troop. There's mementos from world jamborees dating back into the 50s. There's a number of relics from other times with other scouts. And it's just really amazing to see that thread through time. These guys have had opportunities to meet folks that were scouts there in their youth and many, many years ago. And to think that similar experiences have been going on in that since 1931. It's amazing to think about, and that it's being preserved is very important to us personally, just because it's a home for us to meet in, but also to see that that's going to continue on for many more years for other young men and women to enjoy scouting there and have that as a centerpiece for our community. So thank you guys for your effort in raising funds and participating in that, and we really appreciate it. Our year in review, as I put this presentation together for these guys, it was a bit of a contrast from last year where we had come out of the pandemic restrictions and not being able to travel out of state and do different things. And it was kind of eye-opening, because in the wake, you don't you don't think that much about what you've got behind you. You're looking forward, looking at the things that you need to do, upcoming events. There was a lot that we did this past year, and this presentation is a small sampling of the things that these guys have done and accomplished. Next slide, please. One of the things that happened this year that was fantastic was watching these guys get re-engaged in their rank advancements. Right now we have 17 scouts in the unit. We're looking at having 5 more join this spring. Currently we have 1 unranked scout, so there's some work to be done there to get to the point where we're moving through our different ranks. When you first join, you don't have a rank. We've got 2 at scout, 2 at tenderfoot, 3 at second class. And this is the part that I find really interesting. At first class, we consider the scouts to be true leaders within the troop. 6 of our boys right now are at first class and up, and then 2 for life and 1 for Eagle. Out of the 17, you know, the majority of our scouts are actually in leadership level roles. So it's really amazing to see them embrace the program that way and really go after it. Last year at this time, we only had 4 boys that were really in a position to lead the unit. So it's been great to see that change. We've got 2 guys that are working towards Eagle Scout right now. Luke Palumbo, he's very close. He's worked through a project. He's got a couple requirements to brush up yet, and he'll be closing in on it. And then Brian Craven here as well is now a life scout. He's working through his requirements to get into position to work on this project as well. Like I said, we've had some out of state overnights. These guys have embraced the Laurel Highlands area. It's a beautiful part of Pennsylvania. But we went there for some caving and some rafting. Our attendance is really solid. On average, we've got 12 or more boys in attendance for our weekly meetings and events, which is a very good percentage. And as I mentioned, they're very enthusiastic. So from the last time I was in front of you guys here, we've had 25 rank advancements amongst those 17 boys and 59 merit badges earned in that time as well. So to think about how few boys that is for how many merit badges and the amount of work that goes on to do that, it's pretty impressive. Next slide. So here's our year in review. I'll turn it over to Brian to kind of speak through what we've got in these slides and tell you guys a little bit about what we've done.
All righty, so we go to the next slide. Thank you. So our merit badges, we do, well, what we used to do is we used to do a merit badge every month, but what we've started to do, so we can actually make sure we're getting through all of the merit badges, is we've started to do like 1 merit badge over maybe 2.5 months, and making sure everybody actually has a chance to get them done. That's why we've had a lot more advancements in that terms. So first we did snow sports. So we first started with like safety and learning the rules and how not to get seriously injured and whatnot. And we all had a lot of fun with that, and we ended up going to Boston Mills and started to ski. It was my first time. I really enjoyed it. It was Colin's first time. Jesse made fun of me a little bit for falling over, and it was a lot of fun. And then next we did to citizenship in the community, where we had to learn about local government and how that works, and then how we can best serve our community. And we went to a city council meeting for that. And I believe that was when the new mayor was sworn in. So that was pretty cool to see. Next, we did space exploration for our last merit badge of the previous school year. And we were able to launch model rockets and learn about space and spacecraft and whatnot. So that was a lot of fun. And then we started on American Heritage, which is pretty much just learning about the history of the country and how we can use that history to look at what's going on today. And then we spent a lot of time on first aid, making sure we all knew how to do that. It was pretty in depth, and I think all of us learned a whole lot about first aid. And then right now we're doing farm mechanics, so we're learning like different parts of like machines and how farms operate and important things for like a shop and things like that. Next. So this is when we were doing snow sports. I think that might be me on the ground there being a dummy for a first aid thing. So that was a lot of fun. We did a lot of examples of how to do a lot of those first aid things for snow sports. And since I already knew a lot about first aid, I got to lay around on the floor. So that was a whole lot of fun. And then on the right, you can see that I think that's Jackson and James, who aren't here right now, demonstrating how to stand, I guess. I don't know what they're doing. But that was a whole lot of fun to learn how to ski for the first time. And that's kind of how it goes sometimes though. Next. And then in March we did indoor rock climbing at Kendall Cliffs. And I think everybody that was there, it was their first time doing that. And it was a whole lot of fun because we got to incorporate some of the Weeblos and Cub Scouts into that and let them get a taste of what Scouts is like. And I think we all did. You guys go to that? It's good. Yeah. Next. So this in March also, there's me again. We went cabin camping at Manitowoc, and was this a super cold one? Yeah. So this one, it was like -5 degrees outside, and we like stayed inside. No, it was okay. It was really cold, so we stayed inside for a lot of the time. But when we did go outside, I think we played football, capture the flag, and we had some snowball fights. So that was a whole lot of fun doing that. And then, is that the food you made? Yeah, I think I tried a little bit of it, and it was really good. Next. Also in March, we started citizenship in the community. I think we're discussing right now like different purposes of local government and how different parts of the government affect different things. So, yeah. Oh, I remember this. So, in April, we went to the Laurel Highlands in Pennsylvania, where we went caving. So we spent the first night on Friday night in our camp, and then the next day we went in the morning to the cave, and we got to climb around in there, and we pretty much just went on an underground hike, and that was a whole lot of fun. I think that was one of our highest attendance events this year, and I think all of us went, and we all enjoyed it. My favorite part was probably when we went down to the very bottom and we all turned our lights off, and you can see your hand in front of your own face. So that was pretty cool. Next. And then this one I did not get to go to, unfortunately. We went to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. You guys went? Do you want to talk? You guys. Sorry.
We camped out on the Air Force Base next to a runway, and later to the next day we went to the National Air Force Museum, and we got to look at all the planes and what they used in the war.
Thank you, Jesse.
Just a little note about that outing too. So you see our tents are set up there in the field on the far side of the runway. On the second night after we were done with the museum, a severe thunderstorm came in, and we were advised to evacuate the base. They offered to give us some trucks to haul our gear out and take us off the base. So we knew they were serious. They had sirens blaring. They weren't messing around. So we had to cut out early, missed the second night of the camping, but the guys got to do the important part, which was visiting the museum and learning about some different things that were associated with one of the merit badges they'll come up to here shortly.
So that kind of went into space exploration. I think I led I led the preparation of this merit badge and getting everything organized. So here we met at the bottom left. We went to a church to get everybody set out with their initial requirements in terms of the history of space exploration and things like that, and what we're doing now and how like rockets work. And then here on the left, we have somebody's rocket that was probably lost in the woods. And then up there we have the space shuttle. So was that at the Air Force Base? Yeah. So, and then all the way on the right there, was that also at the Air Force Base? Oh, okay. So that was a lot of fun. We got to launch our rockets on our last meeting of the year. And I think like 5 went into the woods and were not recovered. So it was a lot of fun though. Here in June, we have summer camp. There's a lot of us at the table here and us marching. Oh, there's a couple. Okay. So here, this is the dining hall at Manitowoc. That's where we eat and have all the announcements and whatever. You can see James is looking pretty sunburned in that one. So it was pretty hot. And then we're all marching. That's James at the front, and I'm calling cadence. So it's a whole lot of fun to do that. Next. There's us marching again. And then here's the shooting range here. Is that me during the cowboy? Yeah. So for that, I got to shoot like a revolver and like a muzzle loader and all kinds of things. So that was a whole lot of fun to do. And then there's a few of us at the dining fly eating or something. There's our campsite on the left, and that middle picture I believe was when it was raining and everyone was huddled in there. There's always a day at camp where it's like pouring rain, and then the next 90-degree day will dry it all up, so it ends up being okay. And then oh, there's us. That's us practicing marching down our road, and the wilderness survival shelter for the wilderness survival merit badge. Next. So this is when we went rafting at the same kind of area as we went caving. So it was like right by Valley Forge and like that area. So we're thinking of planning another one where we actually visit the monuments and whatnot. And there's our camp here. We didn't get a whole lot of pictures of us actually rafting because we didn't want to lose our phones or cameras in the water. So this was our planning session at the pool at Mr. Battaglia's house, where we all gathered around to make sure we got all our calendars straightened out for the year. And then after, we just messed around in the pool, and that was a lot of fun. Next. So this was our flag retirement ceremony. We do this a lot of the time with the Cub Scouts because an Eagle project a while ago was setting up a box at Veterans Way where people could put flags that weren't fit to like be flown anymore. So we retire those with a ceremony, and it's pretty cool to get the Cubs involved. And then I'm helping everybody learn about American heritage and history, and I think I was talking about the amendments to the Constitution. So that was an experience. So in October we did a lot with the emergency services. They had an open house where we could go around and learn about different equipment and what they do with them and how they respond to things. And then they asked us, I think, to come out and help them with their jaws of life like training. So we get to sit in the cars and act like we were seriously injured, and they do their procedure and whatnot, and that was a lot of fun. Next. So for first aid, we went there again, and they demonstrated a lot of first aid things to us, and then we got to try it out. I think that's Zach there, and we got them all tied up. So that was a lot of fun being able to learn about that. This was when we went backpacking, because what we're trying to start to do is get ready to go to Philmont, and that's like a huge 2-week backpacking trip in New Mexico. So we're trying to make sure everybody knows what they're doing in terms of backpacking and hiking and that kind of thing. And then November, we had our annual bowling night, which was a whole lot of fun. We got to just every year we have a night where we go bowling, and we just get to mess around instead of doing our usual meetings. And unfortunately, this time I didn't do as well as last year, but it's okay. And then we had our game night, where I think that's Jesse playing chess with James or me or somebody. And that was a lot of fun, getting able to play with everybody. And we, like, every now and then we'll have a day like these where we'll just get to have fun with each other instead of trying to learn this or do that or whatever. This is our winter feast. This is another kind of one of those things where we just get to sit back and relax, and the adults will cook for us, and that's nice because the food is usually a lot better than ours. So you can see all of us are pretty hungry, and we're eating all that food. And then on the right, I think that's you sitting down. I think we're playing. I don't know what we're doing, but it was probably fun, I would assume. And we had our fire going, and it's a lot of fun. So this is when we went to the parks earlier this year, or to Hudson Springs Park, and we helped with splitting logs and getting everything in order there. You can see towards the start, I think we had this huge pile of wood here, and we had to get a fire going, and then Colm and Jesse are in that picture up there with Colm with the axe. And then at the end there, we have all of it split and taken care of. So we were able to help a lot with that, and it's pretty impressive that we were able to get all that done. So this was one we just did recently at Manitowoc. So this would be 2023. There's me and Ethan and Kai and Jackson down here having a lot of fun. You can tell how happy we are with the snow and mud. There's us hiking to get all our stuff there. And then on the right, that's our police line to make sure we have everything picked up off the ground, make sure we're not leaving any trash. Is that the last one? Next. So what we're doing now is fire mechanics. You see Mr. Battaglia, who's back there making sure nobody's up to no good. He's helping us learn about farm mechanics and tractors and how things work on farms. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but it's a helpful skill to learn, because a lot of us don't really have any experience at all with this kind of thing. So it's nice to learn how, so in case we need to do it in the future. Next. Just thank you everybody for listening through that and helping fund the troop and make sure the cabin's taken care of. So I'm going to pass it back to you.
Thanks, Brian.
If I can get these guys out of the corner now, stand out front. If you guys would want to ask them any questions about their year or anything that they're interested in, be a good opportunity if there's any interest there. Guys, why don't you kind of come out here, stand up front? Any questions for these guys?
Personally, my favorite was probably when we went to the National Air Force Museum. That was very interesting.
My favorite was the rafting trip we went on because on double hydraulics, one of the areas there, like the boat like folded up on itself, and it was really funny.
I also really liked the camp out with the National Air Force Museum in Dayton.
I really liked the caving and the rafting, both in that same area. I really liked the caving because of the high attendance and making sure everybody got to be there and have fun with that. And then I also like the rafting. There's a part where you could go up on this like really tall like cliff and jump off into the water, and I did that. It was fun.
First of all, what are your ages, each one of you?
I'm 16.
I'm 12.
13.
I am also 12.
Okay. And that rafting trip, how many of you actually fell in the water off the raft, and was the water cold? I guess this would be a hop on.
I don't think any of us really fell in, but there was a part where we jumped off and swam in the water.
First of all, thank you for the presentation. That was, you had a really full year of activities. That was really amazing. So when I was a scout, now I'm about to tell a story, and the problem is I have not been able to find it before I talk about what I got when I got my Space Merit badge. And this is back in maybe 69, 70. So that was like right in the middle of it. One of the people there had apparently known someone. And so when I got the badge, it was on a card that was signed by Neil Armstrong. Now, I have not been able to find it, but that was like the coolest thing ever. So my question is, so two things. One is, we've obviously realized a lot lately the importance of knowing first aid and restoring a heartbeat and that sort of thing. So I'm thinking on a future presentation, maybe you could show us some of the techniques for first aid. But my question is, if one of you want to pick a merit badge that you enjoyed working on, just talk about what the requirements are for that merit badge.
So I'd have to say my favorite merit badge that we've done is space exploration. I first got it at summer camp a couple years ago, and I led the troop through it again this year. And we started off with learning about the history of space exploration, like the first missions that the Russians did and the first ones we did, and how it kept building up to the moon and the shuttle and that kind of thing. And then what we did next is I took the whiteboard that we had, and I drew a rocket, and I showed everybody the parts and how everything worked. And that was the next requirement. And then we had to design a space station, and we had to design a spacecraft, and we had to design a mission. So I had everybody to draw it on a piece of paper, and I'd look at them and I'd make sure they're good. And then when we were all done, we met with the counselor, and they got them all checked out. And then I think the best thing that we did was definitely the rocket launch, because some people brought their own rockets that they had already built, and we could put like a really huge engine in like the little rocket, and it went like 2,000 feet in the air, and it was really, really fun to do that. So that was my favorite.
My favorite merit badge is probably geology I took at summer camp. I really liked how the counselor took us around and we got to look at interesting rocks and learned how sediment and different things in that nature work.
My favorite merit badge was swimming because I really like swimming.
My favorite merit badge was from summer camp. I believe it was rifle shooting. We were just kind of like led through that, like step by step, what we had to do to complete that. And the counselor was very nice, so I really like that one.
Any other questions? Again, thank you. Like, we really appreciate having the Rotary Club as our chartering organization. It's fantastic, the overlap between the values that the Rotary Club has with service and scouting as well. So we appreciate having you available as a support for us. And thank you for letting us have another fantastic year here going into 2023. Thank you.
Could I have one of you just be a volunteer to select and I'm looking for, where's my basket? Oh, it's coming forward. All right, 1 second here. We're waiting on this basket to arrive. Our Rotabuck raffle, that is a weekly raffle that we have here. And it looks like the payout today is $9, jackpot $338. So if you'd pick one of these numbers for me, read it out.
681326.
326. Oh, here we go. All right. Put that back in there for me. Thank you so much. And he's going to come up here and try to chance at this jackpot. Gentlemen, observe, just look in here, make sure that you see that there is indeed a black marble in there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the first thing you want to do, I'm going to give you this. So here's your $9. All right. So hold that out. Don't let him see it. And reach in there. That's it. Woo! Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Yeah. Man, $338. Kelly, where are we going for lunch today? Oh. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, it looks like we have a few minutes, so I thought I would share a story with you. True story. Happened in December, just a couple months ago. There's a woman, her name is Kelly Conlon, and her daughter is a Girl Scout. And her Girl Scout troop in New Jersey decided to go to see the Rockettes in New York City. And so the moms and their daughters all load up in a bus and they travel to New York City. And they go to Radio City Music Hall. I suppose that's where it is. And they're going into the theater and they're going through security. And there's metal detectors and, almost like an airport where you're checking all your stuff. And Miss Collin hears, she hears one of the people say, "Woman, long brown hair, gray coat, red scarf." And she realizes that's a description of her. And so she's looking around and suddenly 3 men in blazers with badges come up to her and ask her name. She tells them her name. They say, "Do you have any identification?" She reaches into her purse, pulls out her ID, hands it to the one who seems to be in charge. And the man says, "Ma'am," as she asks a question, why are you detaining me for this? And what's going on? And they said to her, "Ma'am, it seems that our facial recognition surveillance has picked up you as a person who is on the do not enter list." This suburban mom says to this security guy, "You think I'm on that list?" And he says to her, "Yes, ma'am, you are on that list. And so you may not stay. Your daughter may stay if you would like to leave her with her Girl Scout troop and the other moms, but you will have to leave the theater." And she what does this mean? And so she turns and she leaves and she has to wait outside while her daughter and the rest of the troop go and watch the Rockettes. Well, it turns out that Miss Collin is an attorney who works with a law firm that was in a lawsuit against the Rockettes' parent company. And therefore, she was persona non grata at the event that day. Well, this struck me on several different levels. The first is the Rockettes have facial recognition surveillance as part of their security detail. I mean, yeah, these women have great legs, but come on, that's just a little over the top. The second thing, a little less obvious, but should be right at the top, is I have heard no stories of terrorists being detained at Radio City Music Hall, nor of any stories of stalkers being detained watching the Rockettes. Only a lawyer, the most savage of all adversaries. David Basil, Mandy, I'm looking at you too, right? The third thing, and probably the least obvious, is this, is that machines can be trained to recognize what we look like, but they don't know us. And it's important to be known. It's important to be known by someone else. There was a show on television decades ago called Cheers. Sometimes you want to go where everyone knows your name. I don't think that Miss Collin was thinking the exact same thing, at Radio City Music Hall. It's important to be known. And only people who are close to us can really know us. And only people that we are close to can we really know. And I think throughout this entire pandemic years, now 3, we've come to discover this, that we can protect ourselves from disease. But if we do so at the price of protecting ourselves from the people that we love, that price is probably too high. We have to know each other. We have to be known by each other. It's important. It makes the world a better and a different place. So go out there, the people that you know and love, make sure they know you and that they are known by you. All right. Have a great day.